guys, to another episode of the CineMatch podcast, episode 11, I believe. We didn't even touch on the fact we hit double figures last week, which is
that's
a little milestone.
Why is that? That's because I labelled the episode 9, episode 8.
Oh, so. yeah, we forgot we were one ahead. But yeah, we're back this week, episode 11, officially into the double figures, and we're acknowledging it. You're not quite double figures yet. We'll celebrate that
next week.
Definitely, yeah. But yeah, we're back with another Category Carnage this week. The first two we focused on like comic book movie franchises with DC and Marvel. We're going in a completely different direction this week, which was your idea. Not sure what that says about you, but hey ho. My name is Carl Altimus, and I am your host. And joining me is my lovely co-host. I'm trying to remember which week I'm on. Yeah, my lovely co-host, who is ever present and does some incredible graphics, may I add. I'm impressed. I was looking at the stuff for the previous episode when I was putting it all together. Some of it just looks really professional. So well done.
Some of it looks really professional.
Well, everything you've done compared to everything I did looks really professional. But yeah, joining me, Mr. Nathan Hanna. How are you? Other than you look like you're roasting.
I am sweating. I said I've got the which way do I go? I've got the fan in the room today because it's that hot. I don't want a vest to be my signature look, but it's
that's what I was going to mention. It seems like you've got a character now.
It's so hot in this house, and the upper levels are so hot. But if I open this window slightly, it's so noisy. So I've just got to live with the hotness. It was either I sit in here or I sit outside, and I'm pretty safe. I think I'm safer in here. Either way, I'd be wearing a vest. It's way too hot.
Let's say the vest and the hat, you kind of look like you're going for one of those trailer park looks in America.
For me compo money.
Yeah, but at least with it being England, I can imagine this weather's going to last like a week, and then we'll be back to freezing cold stuff, hopefully.
Fine.
Fingers crossed, because this is too hot. Way too hot.
Well, no. This episode comes out, you're in Portugal.
Yeah, and I'll probably be cooler there than I am here, because like I said to you off camera, I checked the weather app today, and it's actually colder in Portugal than it is here now, and I go on holiday on Sunday, so that's fun.
I can't believe the dedication isn't there to film from Portugal.
Well, to take the microphone and stuff. I remember that when you were at a certain wedding.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a background behind me for when we record that episode. Make it look like I'm in Cyprus.
That's what I should have done. I should have put one of those green screens on and just be at a pool somewhere in Portugal. But yeah, we're going to be doing Category Carnage, as I said, but we're doing Pixar this week. I mean, it's Pixar. We've both watched Pixar movies pretty much the majority of our lives. Me, my entire life, because the first one came out before I was born. You were alive in a world without Pixar, which is weird to think, you old man. Before we get started, when it comes to Pixar movies, is there any you watch a lot more than others?
Yeah, there's a few. Obviously, Toy Stories I've watched quite a few times. I hate to say it, but Cars I've seen quite a few times because my nephew was really into Cars. Finding Nemo, obviously. Incredibles, great film. Yeah, I don't think I go out of my way to watch Pixar, but I don't think there's really any, not bad ones per se, but they're all nice. Not all nice watchers, but the nice watchers, nice and relaxed watchers. Yeah,
they're the ones that I remember most fondly from my childhood. Like, I know there's obviously a lot of Disney ones, but it's the Pixar movies like Monsters Inc. and Finding Nemo and stuff that I remember most as a kid, just watching on repeat constantly. But yeah, I love cars. As I told you in the Fast and Furious episode, I had the video game. I was constantly the Dinoco king.
I was literally just about to say, obviously I grew up like you would just been born, but I grew up and was old enough to have Toy Story's out. We've got the Toy Story game, and Bugs Life is out. So I'm playing Bugs Life on PS1, which was great. And Toy Story 2 is probably still one of the best Pixar games on the PlayStation 1. So not only did I have the films, but I grew up with the games as well. So, and the toys and that kind of stuff. So yeah, a lot of love for Pixar, which I thought was nice coming off of the superhero categories we've done recently.
Yeah, it's a huge change of pace, really. And unlike DC, which we touched on, I feel like there's a constant level of quality in Pixar. That means we're not going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Well,
Like,
I checked when I was doing writing my picks, because obviously we've got to make sure we've got a few backups just in case. And there's only 27 Pixar movies. I don't think that's released. I think that's what's coming out as well. So it's quite tight, because obviously between us we're going to have 20 picks.
yeah.
So that first category, every pick gets to pick the first category. It's got to get in there for the good ones.
Yeah, that's very true, actually. And on that note, let's do the trusty rock, paper, scissors. It's 2-0 to you so far, so I'm worried.
1, 2, 3, then go, yeah?
Yeah.
Ready?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh. We've drawn every time as well, haven't we?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Ah, damn.
Right. That's good, actually, because there's one category where I've only got one option.
Oh, no.
And I'm getting it out of the way immediately.
Oh, no.
So without further ado, we'll start the category Carnage. Let's go. And I'm going straight up, best opening, and I'm taking Up.
Okay. Oh, no.
Do you have something else?
It was my first choice for somewhere else, but it's fine. It's fine.
I know. So for this, I was really stuck on many of the openings, and I rewatched the Up one earlier because this one I think is not just one of the best Pixar openings, but I think one of the best openings to any children's film like ever. I think it's so like perfectly done, like introducing us to a young Carl, and it not only does it show why the plot of the movie unfolds essentially, why he wants to do what he's trying to do by traveling to hear me mouth. By he's traveling when he sets the balloons up and he wants to go to that I can't remember the name of the place, but he wants to go on the exploration, and it's because he sat in the theater early on. We see the very, very old film, which as someone who likes watching like 30s and 40s films, that on its own, that hits a sweet spot for me anyway. I love that sort of stuff. And then watching him meet Ellie and just the way you get to watch their life play out, set to an unbelievable like theme, like the music in that, as you see their life story and watch them grow old together and deal with pretty much everything life throws at them. It's so well done. And like obviously you're getting married. I've been with Eleanor 7 years now. Seeing that and seeing like the life together and then watching him lose it gets me even now. Like when he loses it.
Do you want me to point out that I've been with Grace longer, yet we're getting married, and you've been with Ella 7 years and not getting married? Do you want me to point that out? Does she listen? Or
yeah, she says she does. I'm not sure she does.
well, we'll find out now, won't we?
I can't get married yet. I'm still at uni. I've not got the time or the money. I'm poor. Eventually she'll be a lucky girl. Although Eleanor on and off, like, not to go on too much of a tangent, she doesn't like jewelry, so when I do, I don't really know what I'm supposed to buy. Like, she won't wear a ring, so she feels like it'd be just a big waste of money to actually buy a ring. So we'll see what we do. But yeah, back to movies, and not my personal life. Yeah, I just think it's really well done, and I think Ellie's considering how small a role it is, it's such a impactful character. Like the personality and stuff, it really does. You can see why Carl would fall in love with her, and just their life together. It's tragic how it ends, but the fact that that's just the first 10 minutes, it really tells you what Up is going to be. And I don't think I've ever watched a kids' film, especially where I've sat down and 10 minutes in, I'm like, what's going on here? It's usually the ends that kill me, but the beginning I've been bits. So yeah, I had to get that because I can't think of another one that compares. So
yeah, I mean, Up was on my list for best opening because everything you've said is 100% correct. It's also probably tied for the second saddest opening. As like, there's another one that I can think of that is just as sad. I'm not picking it, so I'll say Finding Nemo is like just as sad as an opening as Up. But yeah, 100% agree. A little annoyed, but it's fine. You took it from another category, but we've got plenty of Pixar films. It's fine.
What category did you have it in, or do you want to keep that secret?
I had it in the heartbreak category.
Yeah, I thought you would.
Yeah.
I had to delve in deep with that one to like try think of other ones I could use for heartbreak.
All the things that have broken me inside.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to think. I also considered this one for the best because we've obviously got a best score category here, and I think that opening, the music that's played through as you watch The Life of Fall, I think it's so like it's beautiful. So I considered it for that as well. But I just feel like there's other things I can take in those categories. Whereas this, I felt like there was only one option for me.
Okay. Well, my opening is sad, but in a bittersweet kind of way, because it's a realization opening more than anything. And so I went with the opening to Toy Story 3. And the opening, I love the opening to Toy Story 3. It's the bit with the train and it's like it's an actual film and all the different characters, and it's like the toys are the actual characters, and they're having like this little adventure on the train trying to save everybody, and Ham's like this evil genius, and as you're watching, as you're going along, you're going, oh, I know what's happening. Andy's playing with his toys. And that's exactly what it is. You start seeing like evil Professor Pig and evil Mr. Pig, sorry, or whatever it is. And you start seeing like Buzz Lightyear flying, doing the moves that he does and all that kind of stuff. And then you kind of move from that childlike innocence, and then you start watching him grow up and move away from the toys. So you've got all the clips, the montage of him growing up and moving away from the toys, all leading up to them being in the attic, or them just not being played with anymore. And it's such a well done opening that exactly like sets up the tone of what the movie is and what the movie is going to be about. And yeah, it's just really bittersweet because everybody knows, well, every single person knows what it's like to grow up with toys and play with and have those toys that you absolutely love. And a lot of people, like obviously a lot of kids have got great imaginations, and I was one of those kids where I when I played my toys, I fully played with them because I wasn't a football or sports kid. So my Star Wars toys, which I've not grown out of, were my life kind of thing. So everything was, so that looking back and watching that and having that, oh no, I grew out of my toys. All of my toys are in the attic. I want to get them down and put them on the shelves and stuff. It's really effective to the story that happens of them not being able to let go, and in the end being able, like, letting go and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, Toy Story 3 is such a lovely opening to a movie, while still being like action packed and funny and like the true essence of what a Toy Story movie is. So that's why I went that. And taking Toy Story 3 off the board so easily, as well as Up and Toy Story 3 being taken in the first category is a bit of a wounder for the rest of them, but we'll see how we get on.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the Toy Story 3 open. I think it's wonderful. I actually think Toy Story 3 was one of the ones I had in for the ending, because I think the ending's well done. But I see where you're coming from with the opening. And I might have been a football kid, but don't get me wrong. I love my action figures. I had loads. Did you have like a favorite one? Because I did.
A favorite action figure?
Yeah, I had two favorite ones.
I don't know. I had my Millennium Falcon, which was huge. Like if I was a kid, I used to have to rest it on my arm to fly. So I'd grab the bottom of it and rest it on my arm and fly. It was massive. And so absolutely nothing's changed. My Star Wars toys are still the ones that I banged on about all the time.
Yeah, I had an Anakin Skywalker from Revenge of the Sith, and I remember when it was Christmas, we had the Christmas tree up, and I took that as a perfect opportunity. I was like, right, it's a lightsaber fight on a tree. So I was like in the Christmas tree like this, and I dropped this Anakin Skywalker toy in the Christmas tree, and it just fell through. And somehow it didn't come to the bottom, and I just never saw it again. I don't know what happened to it. It was gone forever, and I was devastated. But yeah, it was that. And before that, when I was even younger.
That's what you're getting for Christmas this year.
Yeah, from Revenge of the Sith.
No.
And that and a Tarzan one before that. When I was like really young, it were a Tarzan toy, like an action figure from the movie. Loved it. So yeah.
I never actually had a Woody or a Buzz, but I knew like the kids in my family, as I've grown older, like have been obsessed with Woody and Buzz, and like getting the big proper ones, like actual like ragdolls and the big like that come in the proper boxes and everything. I did have an RC car. I remember that. But in terms of Toy Story toys, I didn't really have any, I don't think.
Yeah, my younger brother got a Woody. I think he was 3 and I was 4.
I think you actually telling that on the internet.
No, he was. I get that there. Filthy. He was a child. But yeah, and it was like life imitating art, because I remember when we were like 5 or 6, we took it out back in our garden and we were like play fighting, like throwing it about, and everyone was like trying to wrestle it from each other, and we ripped the arm. And we were like, oh my God, it's Toy Story 2. But we didn't have some rich guy to fix it for us, so it just went in bin.
Didn't strap it to a rocket.
No, not quite. We're not that deformed, I don't think.
I did know somebody that tried strapping his Buzz Lightyear toy to a firework, thinking it just happened like it would in the movie. This was when I was younger, like around 9 or 10, 11 maybe. And yeah, it just didn't leave the ground and just scared the living shit out of us.
Fair enough, yeah. But yeah, that's a good pick. Couple of strong ones, like I said, off the board. So where are you going next?
Oh, it's mine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, how do I save some good ones? Oh shit! I've already used Toy Story 3. Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the big one off the board, because I'm gonna go with the most heartbreaking moment, because there's only one moment in all Pixar films.
Oh shit! I think I know what it is, and I think it was the one I had.
Like there's a few, but there's one that no matter who you are, if you don't get a lump in your throat or a little bit weepy, you're dead inside, and that is Bing Bong. That's when Bing Bong is and saves and like sacrifices his life to help Joy get to where she needs to be in Inside Out. The whole film is like I could talk about a few moments in Inside Out that get to me, and Bing Bong's moment is obviously one of the key ones. But I also really love when the parents finally catch up to Riley, and she just lets it all out how she's all feeling, because everybody's been through that. No matter how confident or happy with your life, everybody's been in that moment where they've just felt lost, or they hate something, or they don't know who they are and stuff. And just absolutely heartbreaking. And the Bing Bong stuff is, he's such a happy character. He's such irreverent and silly and goofy. He's everything that you want from a kid's movie. And then that literally is a visual representation of that innocence being ripped away and forgotten forever, because you can't hold on to it forever. And it's such a heartbreaking moment, and it gets me every single time. The fact that it's not long before the second moment that gets me, it's just like a 1-2 punch that just fucks me up. So that's why I don't really watch Inside Out very much, because I just can't deal with it. Though I will say sadness is like, Sophie, my sister-in-law, sadness is the perfect characterization of her.
Yeah, less said about her, the better.
You love her.
Oh, absolutely not. But yeah, that's a great pick. That was the one I had. I can't believe it only took 2 picks in, and you took one I had.
Well, when we said Pixar, and I said we should do like Heartbreak, you was like, I'm going to pick that. So I was like, I'm getting in there before you do.
Did I?
Yeah.
Because I had to give away my gamepad. I can't remember that. Bollocks. Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, that's a great scene. Richard Kind, I think he's the name, the actor, isn't he? Unbelievable job. And it's the saddest thing is when he jumps off, it's not like he is upset that he sacrificed himself. He's excited that she made it up. He's celebrating. He's happy. But yeah, that scene kills me. That is definitely what I was going to go for. So I've fucked it now.
Come on.
So this is hard because I didn't want to use this here, but now I'm going to have to. And is Toy Story 2. Jessie's little montage when we see what happened to Jessie with when She Loved Me playing, and we see how her child abandoned her, and that's why she's got such a dislike for toys that are like actually owned by children and stuff, and she's so like bitter against the world. Like as a kid, with the music playing, it was the perfect combination for just one of the most depressing fucking scenes ever. And it's heartbreaking. And you started feeling guilty, like, yeah, I didn't touch that toy. Like, what happened to that one that I just like lost? Where's Anakin now? That's Anakin somewhere now beefing about me because I
You've
left him a
got,
tree.
I love the image of like a little Anakin Skywalker figure stuck in a Christmas tree, like Hayden Christensen's voice singing when he loved me.
Yeah, and then he'll just
Do you know
slag me
how
off.
our voice works? Because we need to make that video.
I know, yeah. Yeah, just slagging me off to any toy that I listened to him because I just abandoned him in a tree. But yeah, it's like compared to the first Toy Story, I think the first one obviously had a few mature tones to it, but then that scene in the second one, it seemed to just be a completely different. Like it was a completely different thing than we'd seen so far, and it really did wonders for the Jessie character, I think, and it's why I think it played a huge role in why she became so popular. And like when she first goes to Andy's and she's got that insecurity about her, it's just like, and you know why. And when the family take to her, even though it's a toy, I'm fucking buzzing for her. Like I'm so happy for her. Like she's just achieved some great thing. And yeah, I love it. I love that. And as much as I didn't want to take Toy Story 2 there, because that I think is one of the best Pixar films ever. I think it could be my number one. I don't think there's any other heartbreaking moments that come close to those two that we've just taken.
I had Jessie as my backup, or in Toy Story. We've already said Toy Story 3. So the bit when either the ending or when they're all like in the trash compactor going towards the thing, that always gets me.
Yeah, that is an emotional one.
Oh yeah, Toy Story 2. Like that moment in Toy Story 2 it's a real kick in the balls.
Yeah, and it's a good song. I think that's what makes it effective. The song's really good.
Yeah.
Right.
Your turn.
Now where do I go? Interesting. So we've taken opening and saddest moment. What have I got left here? I think I'm going to go best ending now.
Okay.
Because again, this is one where I think I only had one in my head because I had Toy Story 3. I actually just thought you were going to take that in this, and I don't know why, but I just accepted I wasn't going to get that in this category. So the one ending I had as number one for me is Monsters Inc.
Okay.
When you obviously,
I completely forgot about Monsters Inc.
Yeah, I think the ending to Monsters Inc. where obviously Sully has to give up Boo, and it's all the emotion behind all that, and then you see how everyone's lives have changed. But the kick at the end when Mike surprises him and he's built the entire door back to put together after it's been shredded to bits, and he puts that final piece in, and you see Sully just a little bit apprehensive at first, but eventually goes through. And I think what makes it work the best for me is we don't see Boo. I think just hearing it, I think that makes it such a more impactful. And I think if you see her, it takes a little bit away from it, but because we don't, it's like we don't know how long it's been. They don't give a time frame on when he opens the door, so we don't know. It could have. I mean, the voice suggests she's still obviously young, but it could have been a month. It could have been a couple of years. You don't know. But I just think was such a good way to end that movie. And yeah, I just think if it ended without the door, it would have been just a standard Pixar movie ending, like just seeing how everyone's lives have got better. But then getting to see him go back and knowing that he actually did see her again, I just think it was so fucking well done. And I'm kind of glad they never went back to Boo after that. I'm glad that's where the character was finished, because obviously we got the prequel Monsters University, and then we got that TV show on Disney Plus, Monsters at Work, I think it was called. But yeah, I'm just glad that was the last we saw of the character. I think it was the perfect way to end it, and it was the perfect way to end that film. So that's what I'm taking there.
Yeah, I agree. That if we ever saw Boo again, it would completely take away. It's one of those things that would actually take away from the film that came before it. Yeah, good choice. Yeah, no, I would completely forgot about Monsters Inc. when I was doing all this, and then I wrote them all out. I was like, oh, fuck, Monsters Inc. I'll try and squeeze it in somewhere, but nah, I didn't. Ending. See, again, I'd go Toy Story 3 usually, but I'm gonna go with probably I don't know if it is my favorite, but it's because favorite Pixar film does kind of fluctuate. But Incredibles, I love the Incredibles, and I love the ending to Incredibles. That not just like obviously the beat syndrome and all that kind of stuff. Oh, piss. I wanted to save that for villain.
Yeah, that would have been my pick for villain syndrome.
But wanting. I think it's the acceptance part of it. Like after all of that hiding and after all of the family dysfunction, like obviously get the bit where they all kind of come together and to defeat Syndrome, but the kind of epilogue where the family starts working as a unit, and so like they're all at the sports game and Dash is running and telling him to slow down. I just love it. It's just like a really, really, really nice superhero ending, and it's probably one of the more satisfying endings to one of the Pixar movies, and a complete ending as well. I'm going to 100% contradict myself, because then they all come together to fight the Underminer at the end, and it just kind of ends, and it just feels like really pulpy and like exactly what the film is. It feels like old school comic book. It feels really pulpy, like everything about it. Really, really good. Not much else to say about it other than I just really, really love the ending to Incredibles. It's just a great ending.
Yeah, Incredibles was another one as a kid. I think that was one of my favorites because it obviously combined Pixar with like comic books and superheroes, which perfect combination. And I love that film as well. Can I ask, did you like that in Incredibles 2? It opened and we saw that scene, or would you rather we never saw it?
No, I think if you was ever going to do it, you have to pick it up straight away. I've always you do have to pick it up straight away. So it didn't bother me. What bothered me about Incredibles 2 was that it wasn't as
good
entertaining as the first one. Yeah, well, the first one is Watchmen for kids, and the second one's just another standard superhero movie. So it just felt really different and didn't like it as much.
Yeah, I agree with that. I didn't mind the second one. Like, I didn't dislike it, but compared to the first, I don't think it's even half as good. But yeah, good pick.
Is it me?
Yeah, you have to pick a category now. What have we gone through so far? Opening, heartbreak, and close, right?
Yeah, 3 out of 10.
Yeah, and I'm already forgetting.
I am going to go with best sequel. And I'm going to hate myself for who this is going to please. But I genuinely, and I will die on this hill as much as possible.
I know what you're going to say.
I genuinely think one of the best Pixar sequels is Cars 3.
I knew exactly where you were going, because that's what I had, Cars 3.
Cars 3 is, it's the Rocky Balboa of car movies. It's so good. Or the Creed of car movies. It's so good. And the fact that I know a lot of people say, I'm not watching Cars 3. Cars 2 is shit. Or just whatever. But Cars 3 should have been what Cars 2, like, they shouldn't have done Cars 2. It should have been Cars 3 is what I'm saying. It's such a great movie. He's not as fast as he used to be. Moving into that mentor role, like having somebody take the spotlight, that person being his reason, his final success rather than anything, like him doing it himself. It's so good. It's so fun. It's so well done. It's got classic Pixar messaging. It's got that classic Pixar adult stuff, like adult morals and tones, all merged into a movie about cars. I mean, is that down by Owen Wilson being in it? But other than that, I love Cars 3, and I would put it up there with like Toy Story 2 and 3 and those sequels. It's so underrated. That's why I wanted to do an underrated category. It's so underrated. It's so good, and I will defend it as much as I can.
I was just about to say that, because we were originally going to do an underrated category, and Cars 3 would have been my top pick, because I think, yeah, like you said, everyone watched Cars 2, and it took the story in such a completely different way that it turned everyone off. Whereas Cars 3 really returned to its roots, I thought, and I think it did a brilliant job. I think, yeah, like you said, Lightning McQueen becoming the mentor, and the fact that it wasn't just some like cool new racer, it was like his one of his like the woman wasn't even supposed to be a racer. The car wasn't like a race car, was it? She was like an underdog as well. And seeing the antagonist from the first one, is it Chuck Hicks, Chick Hicks, something like that?
Oh, Chick Hicks, Chuck
Yeah.
Hicks. Yeah.
Seeing him like as like an analyst now, like it's like he's a retired sports star. I think it was such a clever touch. Yeah, I really like that film.
Technology versus skill aspect of it all as well.
Yeah, it was just compared to what came before. I think it was such an improvement on the second one. And I mean, I can't talk too much on Cars 2 because I only watched it once on a plane, either to or from Florida, I think. And I just remember being so pleasantly surprised because I had no interest in watching it myself because the second one did put me off. And then it was just on there. So I was like, I might as well watch it. I watched the first two. It's here now. I've got nothing else to do. So I did. And I actually really loved it. So yeah, with what's left on the board, that would have been my pick for sequel as well because all the good ones have gone. Shit.
Well, you better pick some.
Yeah. Oh dear. I don't even know what sequels are left. We've got Monsters University.
Why am I giving you ideas? I'm not telling you that.
Monsters University.
I planned Monsters University as a sequel, just in case you were going to say, "Is that a prequel?"
No, I reckon it counts. It come after. Same franchise come after. I'm going to take Toy Story 4.
Okay. I mean,
it's not one of my favorite Pixar sequels ever, but I think if you look at what's left, like I think it's head and shoulders above like Monsters University and Finding Dory, stuff like that. I don't think any of those are on the level of Toy Story 4. And like, no matter what that group do, that iconic that it somehow works every time. Just like following Woody and the gang and seeing where the adventures taken next. And this time seeing them, like we've seen them venture into the real world at times, but this time it felt like prolonged. It was like the genuine real world. There's like the majority of the film was out there, and we got introduced to the likes of Sporky. We got reunited with Bo Peep, which was nice. Although I'm not sure how she looks different. I'm not sure what's going on there. What sort of plastic surgery toys are going through. But yeah, it was daunting when they first announced they were doing a Toy Story 4 all those years later. I mean, they've announced a 5 now. I don't understand because 3 felt like the perfect place to end it. And it probably was. It was. I think Andy's story was the story. So continuing after him was a strange decision. But I think it was a fine film. It could have been a lot worse. 5 probably will be a lot worse. And I also think ending it with Woody kind of going against everything he's believed in the past was quite an interesting turn. And having him choose to stay out on the streets with both people and not go back to the kid and go through what he seemingly lived for. Like, if there's any toy in the world that buzzed over having like an owner, it was him. So that was quite a left field decision. But I think it works in that film, which is why it's going to be weird seeing him try to run it back a 5th time. But
how they're going to do that, I don't know.
No, yeah, like they're in different parts of the toys. It's not like he's going to run into them. But yeah, that's what I went with because it's the best of what's left.
Else.
Yeah,
because it's the best of what's left.
Essentially, yeah.
It's your turn.
Oh, right. Next, I'm going to go with Score.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because again, all the best ones have gone.
Oh no.
And I'm going with a film that I've already said I didn't necessarily like too much, but it's got the same score as the first one. So I'm taking The Incredibles 2 for that iconic superhero theme. I just think it's fantastic. And like, I was listening to it again earlier, and there's like hints of so many different like influences. Like parts of it sound like James Bond, parts sound like Mission Impossible, parts wouldn't feel out of place in a Marvel film. I just think it's a really, really good superhero theme. And looking at some of the themes in Pixar, they usually do a really good job of like capturing like what the story's going to be in that sort of theme. Like I said earlier about the Up one, it was obviously quite a moving theme and you knew where the story was going. And this one's so like upbeat and exciting. I think it immediately tells you that it's going to be like an action-packed story, and fucking loves it. So, boom, I'm happy with that one.
It feels like a 60s like movie. Like I mean, obviously that's the style of it, and they pull it off so perfectly. Like it doesn't feel like a superhero. Like that's what superhero movies would sound like in the 60s. So it's got like this, like the xylophones and like the kind of spy, like secret agent kind of feel to it. Like you said, James Bond, and yeah, good choice. Would have been better if you had Incredibles 1, so you didn't have to attach it to Incredibles 2.
Yeah, but this is a good way to do it. I could just use a bad film, but because it's got the same score in it.
Especially when you have Toy Story 1, you could have used.
Yeah, but I think I prefer the Incredibles theme.
Yeah, the Incredibles theme is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never escape my bad puns. It's fine. I went for a film that I've never like. I don't overly love it like most people do, but the score is beautiful. Is probably one of the best words I can use to describe it, and that's Ratatouille. Ratatouille's music is obviously very French inspired, and it's just a joy. It's just a joy to listen to. We have it on at work sometimes, and it's I don't know how to describe it other than it's French and it's joyful to listen to. It's just really uplifting, and even like it sounds like I'm not saying that other film scores don't sound like a proper orchestra, but it does sound like a proper orchestra, like a fully created like score of classical French music rather than for a film. It's just beautiful. No, I don't know what else to say. It's a film about a cooking rat that controls somebody by pulling the hair, and it's got one of the most beautiful sounding soundtracks of all of the Pixar films. That one, there was no doubt there was going to be no other film that I would have picked for that one. It's such a good movie. Like when he's cooking, and that in the moment when he's going around and chucking all the ingredients on, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, I like Ratatouille. That's a film I've not watched too many times, so I'm not as familiar with it as I am some of the others. But I think it is. That's another one when we discussed underrated that I had in consideration because I think that film's really good.
Yeah,
really, really good. And the ride at Disneyland Paris, I think it was, that went on, fucking rocks. So
I've never been, so
it's a good ride.
I've never been to a Disneyland at all, and it breaks my heart every time I think about it.
Yeah, I was surprised you've never tried to get to Orlando with all the Star Wars stuff.
Right, let's take a short detour like you did for a second and talk about my relationship. I tried really hard to go to Disneyland just for the honeymoon, but we're not doing it. All I want is to build a lightsaber.
I'm surprised you can't talk Grace into Orlando either, though, because Universal's got the whole Harry Potter section as well.
Yeah, you'd think, but no.
That place seems tailor-made for both of you. Just get yourself to Orlando every time you live. You can even just go to different parts for the day, so you can spend time at Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow. We'll do Minions together.
Right. Ratatouille, good pick. What category are you going now?
I'm going to go best song. And I'm a bit torn now because I had one, but now I just realised another film's open and I don't know whether to keep it for another. No, I'm going to go this one because there's no... Out of the ones we've got left, and to be fair, this is my number one pick anyway, it's such an uplifting song. It's so fun. I fucking love it. And it's Un Poco Loco from Coco. It's such a great song. It's so uplifting. It's so upbeat. You can't help but move a little bit when you listen to it. It's just a really, really fun song. And the scene when he plays it and it's just joyous and fun. We're going to take shots for joyous. We're going to take shots for joy this week. That's the word this week. It's just so fun, and Coco is an underrated film that people don't seem to like for some reason. But again, it's such a great film that delves into a lot of different themes. But the music in it is great because it's obviously inspired by the country that it's all about, but. Yeah, Un Poco Loco is a great song, and it's foot tapping. It's a foot tappingly good song.
Yeah, you'll hear no disagreements from here. I actually think Coco is one of the best, not just Pixar but Disney movies in general. I honestly believe Coco is a 5-star movie, and I think The animation style, the artwork, everything about that film is just stunning, and I love it so much. I had it for a different category, but I really like Coco. I'm glad. I was felt for sure though when you said uplifting song that you were going to take this, but you haven't. So
Wait
I'm
on,
going.
before you say what yours is it Coco or is it Coco?
Piss off. Number. I'm surprised that you didn't take this actually, because I thought you liked the song, and I thought when you said uplifting, it was going to be this, but it wasn't.
Am I gonna kick myself?
I'm going Cars One, Life is a Highway by Russell.
Okay, yeah, no.
I fucking love that song. Like, I listen to that song just normally. Like, I can't get enough of that song. I think it's unbelievable. I think it's the best song from any Pixar movie. So the fact that it's still here for me is unreal.
I did think about it, but I thought it's not originally from a Pixar movie. It was originally it's like a cover. So if I was going to go Cars 1, I would have gone Real Gone.
No chance. No chance. Life is a Highway any day of the week.
I mean, I do love Life is a Highway. I'm not going to lie.
It's unbelievable.
It's great.
I love it so much. Like you said about Unpoka Loka with the foot tapping, like that. Life is a Highway is a song you can't not move to when you're listening to it. Like, it's so like upbeat and entertaining. I think we even played at work, so that's all you need to know. Absolute belter of a song.
That's true. If you did drive, because you don't drive, like, if that song came on, would you be like me when I've got the Fast and Furious songs on? Would you be putting your foot down and driving as fast as you can?
No, because I wouldn't break the law.
No, well, I don't do that.
I'm going to report all of this. I got evidence now.
I never said drive as fast as I can to this. I meant to the speed limit.
No, I love it.
Fast as I'm legally allowed.
Yeah, that's it. They're both great songs. So there was another one that I'm really surprised we didn't take actually, but I'm going to take it in this category.
Is it You've Got a Friend in Me?
Yeah, I'm surprised none of us did it. But I'm going with best overall. Was it supporting cast? What would we eventually set on?
Group of characters, because a lot of them got ensembles in it.
I'm going group of characters, Toy Story 1, the entire crew, because it's like I said to you earlier about Toy Story 4, just watching these guys do anything, I'm all in. Like, there's the shorts on Disney Plus where like it's Halloween, or they're on, like, they fake a Hawaiian holiday for Barbie and Ken. I'm like, it can be the most mundane shit in the world, but when it's those guys, I'll watch it. Like, they could do nothing. They could be sat in the room talking, and I'm all in. Let me watch 10 hours of it. Like, I just think the entire cast is just so iconic. Like, from Woody to obviously Buzz, and then you've got like the smaller toys that don't have as big roles, like Mr. Potato Head and Slinky and Rex, and I said Ham. And then as the film goes on and we get introduced to the little green aliens, like, I fucking love it. Obviously, as the movies go on, you what? Sorry.
The deformed toys too.
Yeah, but like as the movie goes on, as the movies, the franchise, you get introduced to a few more iconic characters like Jessie and stuff. So it's not the best Toy Story movie for the cast. Like, better ones come along, but that first one is just, they're awesome. They're really awesome. And like I said, it's one of the most lovable casts, especially for an animated movie from top to bottom. Like, that's why the films still continue to work over and over, because it's just those guys and the chemistry. I mean, it's weird saying chemistry because it's fucking voice acting, but it feels like there is, and like everyone just plays their roles perfectly, and I love them all. Like, I literally watched the 10-minute short the other day about Rex being moved into the bathroom and he became a bath time toy and started like DJing these big foam parties for bath toys, and it was fucking riveting.
I've not seen that. I need to watch it.
It's awesome. It is awesome. But yeah, that's it. For me, Toy Story cast is top notch.
I mean, I can't believe, you didn't mention RC, but you didn't mention the best toy in Toy Story 1, and that's the shark that steals Woody's hat. Howdy.
I didn't mention Bo Peep either. But
no, that's true. It's because it's a different Bo Peep before surgery.
Yeah, I forgot it. But yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, toys, like you say, more toys come along later on. But I would argue that Toy Story 1 does a better job of keeping it consolidated, and rather than splitting the focus. Though I've not watched Toy Story, obviously, unless I really went out of my way. I've not watched Toy Story 3 since watching the Barbie movie. I wonder how that's going to play now with Barbie, and now that I've seen it. Is it Michael Keaton play Ken?
I'm not sure.
That's going to be one. I'm pretty
Michael
sure.
Keaton.
No, it can't be. I'm pretty sure it was a big name that played Ken in Toy Story 3. And let's do Ken. Da, 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 da. Oh my god! Why does it tell you everything other than the person who plays him? Michael fucking Keaton.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was Michael Keaton.
I thought it was.
Well, yeah, that definitely played different then.
But all I'm going to see is Ryan Gosling now. I mean, they play very similar characters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Ken kind of just seems to be the butt of the jokes in any appearance, but it works.
It works. But yeah, no, great choice. But the better choice, and it's a big thing to say the better choice over the cast of Toy Story because it is a great cast. But Finding Nemo, the ensemble group of Finding Nemo is fucking phenomenal. From Marlin the clownfish to Nemo himself, Dory, obviously. Then you got all the tank fish, you know, the starfish, and why can't I remember Green Goblin's name? Who's Green Goblin?
Oh, the actor, you mean?
Yeah,
Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah, Willem Dafoe's fish, and like the entire cast. You know, Bruce and all the sharks. Like every single character that's introduced in that movie is an absolute winner. There's no bad character in that movie. You know, the singing stingray, the kids at the beginning with the "You Made Me Ink," like gets me every single time. Like, it's such a good ensemble movie, and I really wanted to go Bug's Life, but I couldn't remember most of the names other than Flick. So obviously not that memorable. But yeah, the Finding Nemo, well, obviously not the first Finding Nemo. The entire cast is so perfectly voiced, so perfectly characterized, and each serves a role as well. Absolutely love them. The sharks especially.
Yeah, that is a strong choice, and I don't want to make it sound stronger, but you didn't even mention Crush the Turtle. So
oh yeah, of course, yeah, and Crush the Turtle and his kids. You know, like I said, well, that's further proves my point. Everybody in that movie, and the Pelican, everybody in that movie, just a banger of the character, and the seagulls. They're perfect. Love them.
Yeah, I do like Finding Nemo. Like I said at the beginning, Finding Nemo was one of those with Monsters Inc. that I watched like repeatedly as a kid. So yeah, I won't argue that it's a great cast. It's not on Toy Story's level, obviously, but
we need to do a Toy Story versus Finding Nemo.
Right, what category are you going? What have we got left?
Is it my turn?
Yeah, because I went first, Toy Story.
Oh shit.
What categories left?
We've got best villain, best main character. How many have we done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 3. Oh, we've got best story. Best villain and best main character. So, oh.
Right.
Oh shit. I am going to piss some people off. And I'm going to go best story from what we've got left. But it was my number 2 choice anyway. I'm going to piss some people off because you know this about me, and
I hope it's not what I think it's going to be.
I love the Lightyear movie.
Lightyear.
I honestly love it, and I will explain why I love it in a second. But the whole story of him trying to go better, further, faster, and displacing himself out of time because he wants to be like his ego can't take the loss. Absolutely love it. And then having to live in this world where he's lost everything. Chris Evans essentially plays another Captain America, but this one is a child sci-fi movie. The reason I love, and I'm using my platform now, the reason I love Lightyear so much is that I know if I watched that film as a kid, it would be one of the films that just solidified that I love sci-fi. I get why people go, it's not Toy Story and blah blah blah, it's not the Lightyear, blah blah blah, but I really went in thinking, would I like this film if I was a kid? 100%, yes, I would. It's got spaceships, it's got fast spaceship travel, it's got aliens, it's got shooty combat, it's got funny robots. It's entry-level sci-fi, the same way that I always say Frozen 2 is entry-level fantasy, especially Frozen 2, not so much Frozen 1. And it's not the deepest sci-fi film in the world, and it's not the most complex or most action-packed, but like Frozen 2, it's a nice film to kind of gauge if you are, like, as a child, if they are into sci-fi and stuff, and it might spark a love for sci-fi. So, and as somebody who's clearly a massive sci-fi fan, that's why I love Lightyear. And I'm not gonna lie, if anybody, whether you've got your own podcast or not, wants to fight me on if Lightyear is a good film or not, if we can bring it on, I'll take you on any day.
I mean, I'm just grateful that you've given me the win there, because that is a terrible choice. No, I didn't mind Lightyear, to be fair. I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay. Like, not as bad as some people are making out.
It's not. No, I think people overly hate on it for the sake of. I think because they said this is the film that Andy watched. I think it gave people an excuse to say, "Well, I don't like it then," because why would it be, and all that kind of stuff. Whereas if they hadn't said all that, I was like, "This is a Lightyear, just a Lightyear movie about his adventures or whatever." I don't think it helped that we had the most perfect cartoon in the 90s as well. But yeah, fuck everybody else. My opinions on this show. You wanted me on, you get my opinions.
All I'm saying is, did you ever watch the Buzz Lightyear Star Command cartoon in the early 2000s?
Literally what I've just said.
Did you? Yeah. Honestly, sometimes, like I said, you talk about zone out.
No, but you can't do that on the podcast.
I know, yeah, it's terrible. But I think that negatively impacted Lightyear, because I think that show was fucking awesome.
I literally just said I don't think it helped that we had the best cartoon of the late 90s.
Oh, see, I thought you meant the actual film Toy Story.
Oh, right, got you.
That's what I thought you meant. As in Toy Story's the best.
All right, I'll let you off that one. So
no, but yeah,
if you think you're getting an easy win, you've not got many films left. What's the best story for you? Cars 2?
Absolutely not. From what's left, to be fair, I had this down quite early, and I went with Onward.
Oh,
I
forgot Onward. What a great
Is it Chris Pratt and Tom Holland? That's right, isn't it? And just the story of the two brothers. Obviously, it's set in a fantasy land where there's like elves and unicorns and all sorts floating about, and it's the two brothers going on that quest because they found out about something that they believe will bring their father back, but they get halfway through and mess it up, so they've just got his legs, and it's like they're bonding with the dad, but there's no way to talk to him, and it's just this whole story about struggling to let go of a past loved one, and a role model, and the way that plays out, and the emotion told throughout, and then the way it culminates at the end, where I think it's the older brother, played by Chris Pratt, who sacrifices his chance to meet the dad so the brother gets more time with him, and then eventually misses out. It's surprisingly emotional and very grown up, I think. And it came out of nowhere. I think that was just before the pandemic, so it kind of came and went. It kind of came and went and didn't have a chance for it to really gain legs the way, say, Elemental did this summer. And I think it would have done if it had the chance, because I think it was just a beautiful story, and I think it was mature in the sense that any lesser film would have had both brothers meet the dad at the end, and there'd have been a big happy ending, and he'd just spoke to both. But we don't even really hear him speak to the younger one. We just see from a distance how it plays out, so it leaves it to interpretation.
I'm gonna say, I might be misremembering it, but I'm pretty sure that do you even see the dad? You see him from the back, don't you? You don't even fully see it.
No, I don't think you see his face properly. But I think that, again, like I said about Boo, is a really clever choice, and it leaves what was said to interpretation, and it lets our imaginations run wild on that, and I think it makes for a better story, and it don't feel like a cheap ending to satisfy people watching. And yeah, I think in terms of especially later Pixar movies. I think it's such an underrated one, and that's one that took me by surprise. I didn't expect to like it half as much as I did.
Yeah, I forgot about that film. Yeah, no, good. Not as good of a pick as Lightyear. But
You can fucking get to fuck with that.
I mean, they're two very, very different films. I think, I can't argue. That's a good one. We've not had as many falling outs as we usually do.
No, apart from when you just dropped Lightyear on me. Fucking
Well,
terrible.
I mean, in the Marvel episode, I dropped Hawkeye on the first.
That's true. That was straight up fucking garbage and all.
Right. Oh,
Right,
man.
what am I doing here then? Main character and villain left.
Mate, yeah, that's pretty much it. And all the good main characters are gone. So. And the good villains are gone.
In terms of villain, I'm going Hopper from A Bug's Life.
Oh.
Because I watched this again recently, just last week actually, before we even said we were doing Pixar. So just quite a coincidence. I rewatched Bug's Life for the first time in years, and while I think the entire cast is great, and I love the supporting cast with the circus bugs that come to help, I think Hopper is such an effective villain because I know he's like supposed to be the leader of this group, but essentially he's just a bully who picks on people smaller than him and gets away with it, and that is such a relatable character that most people in the world will have come across at some point. And not only that, but he's creepy fucking looking. Like, grasshoppers are ugly as hell, especially in that film. And just the way he terrorizes the ants because he knows he can get away with it. And then the way he just seemingly just, without effort, just kills a couple of his own team for suggesting they don't go back. Like, because I think they say we should just leave it and we won't bother. And it's like, oh, does this hit? And he throws one thing at him and he's like, no, he's like, what about this? And then he unleashes the entire avalanche to crush them. And he's like, that's what would happen if you let one ant get away with it. He's menacing and relatable at the same time. And I think despite the fact he's got one of the most gruesome endings of any villain, where he's fed
gets eaten by
chicks, which even now, when I watched it, it still like creeps me out. Like the thought of that is just horrific and very dark for a Pixar movie. Even an early one. But I think there were obviously better villains on the board earlier that I would have taken, but I think Hopper is a really good one and a very underrated one.
Who voices him?
Oh, I do know. I'm not sure I'll say his name, but I do know.
But you're a massive. You always tell me how big of a supporter of him you are.
Fuck off.
I'm pretty sure you said he can do no wrong.
Fuck right off.
Let's not say his name.
No, absolutely not. But the character was good. That's all I'll say. Yeah, also, I think Bug's Life is really underrated now.
Yeah, I'm surprised that one never got a sequel.
Yeah.
Given the opportunities for it, but yeah, strange one. I had wrote one, and she's not a traditional villain. And it's a film that did come and go due to the pandemic. But I am going to class her as a villain because she is the main antagonist to the main character. And I'm going with the mum from Turning Red. Because it's a very underrated film, which not a lot of people saw, which they really should, because Pixar tried a new animation style, really, really good, and a different kind of film. It felt more like Mitchells and the Machines than a Pixar movie. But such a great... Have you seen it?
No.
Really good. And well, without spoiling too much, but the mum is essentially, it's a growing up story, and it's a Chinese family, and the mum is, well, I think it's Chinese. That might be me being really bad. But the mum is basically shitting on everything the daughter likes and wants to be and loves and wants to do, specifically a boy band, saying that she's silly and whatever. And all the way through the film, even when she turns into a giant red panda, obviously, why wouldn't you? It's all about avoiding the mum, not to disappoint the mum, and it's that relationship between mother and daughter that becomes so strained as, not that I would know, but actually I've got 3 sisters. 100% know what it's fucking like. It's just except for I'm on the outside looking in, trying not to get caught in the crossfire. But like that growing up and moving into your teenage years and changing who you are and all of that kind of business, whereas having those expectations laid on you and all that kind of business, and also not wanting to change, but wanting to be the perfect child and all that. And she's not the villain because obviously, you know, she's still the mother, but she's not like an evil mother or anything like that. But she is the main antagonist, and it's such a. I won't spoil it too much because I do think it deserves a watch. But it is such a good watch, and it's the conclusion to that relationship is quite emotional. For such a really light-hearted, proper bubblegum film that feels like, we took Syndrome off the board really easily because he is the ultimate villain in any, and lots of hugging bear. He's basically runs an internment camp, so it's
yeah, they were the two.
They were the two, and Zurg obviously, but I'd already used Lightyear elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
I mean, I've not seen it, but you just said then she tries to hit on her daughter for like in a boy band, and as a boy band connoisseur, that's the ultimate villain to me.
You should watch it. If you love boy bands, you will love this film.
Yeah, I should probably watch it. So I will do at some point.
Best main character, and it's I get the final pick in it.
Yeah, that's it. Last category, best main. As if we left best main characters to the end. I feel like we took that early the other two times.
Yeah.
Best
Without
main
doing what
character.
you did, I'm not going to cop out like what you did in the DC episode and be like Superman from Superman 3 because Christopher Reeve can do it. I'm not copping out.
Hey, I rewatched Superman 3 after that, and on my letterbox review, I said I think that's Christopher Reeve's best performance. Because
better than Superman 1.
Because Superman 1, he doesn't even show up for the first hour. So I think he's actually got very minimal to do in that version. But Superman 3, he has to face himself when his other half goes bad. He gets to go back to Smallville and do the high school union and reconnect with Lana Lang, and they have that storyline. I really like him in 3. It's the villains that shit.
What about his performance in the well-beloved movie The Flash?
May he rest in peace is all I'll say.
It's not him. That's the worst.
Yeah.
Express-looking motherfucker I've ever seen.
I've only ever actually seen him in Superman and Smallville, which is obviously another Superman thing. I've never actually seen him act in anything else.
No, he needed to be fair. Actually, thinking about it, I'm gonna go with the cutest little robot in Wall-E.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Like everything about Wall-E is great. The innocence, the kind of naivety, all that kind of stuff. He's lost a lot.
Can you hear me, Nathan?
He's bored all the time, which I can relate to. He's just the same old things over and over again. Okay, yeah, can you hear me?
You've screen's frozen and your voice has gone really laggy and slow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, used to.
It's still frozen on your screen.
Oh, am I just not moving?
Yeah, and I think my voice is coming through a bit of a lag. Hello.
Hello.
That's better.
Where do I need to start from?
Well, actually, usually I kind of forget, and it takes me ages to find where I need to cut the thingy because I can't remember where it is. But I remember it. You can just start because it immediately kicked in as soon as you started talking about Wally. So you could just announce that again and talk about it.
What, to start talking about the main character again?
Yeah, if you just pick Wally again and then talk about it, because it was like quite a coincidence. It kind of kicked in as soon as you announced that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So main character, I'm going with the. Hold on. Did I get all of the Christopher Reeve talking there as well?
Yeah, that was fine.
Okay. Well, this is your me moving, so you can see where to cut. So I am going with the cutest little robot, which was, Wally. Absolutely perfect. He's naive. He's cute. He's super innocent, and the things that I relate to. He's bored at doing the same thing over and over again every day, and just wants a little bit of adventure in his life. He goes off on this little adventure, and his eyes open up to everything, and in the end, obviously makes the world a bit of a better place, quite literally. And the voice for Wally is just so simple. I can't believe the film works as well as it does for a kids' movie with not that much dialogue, especially from the main character. Just the noises he makes is enough. So yeah, Wally is not only that, but is pretty iconic in his look as well. Like you see that and you know exactly. You can see the silhouette of Wally and you know exactly what it is. It's that rusty, broken down kind of machine that looks a bit worn out and whatever. That he's just that paired with the really sleek, modern, futuristic look of Eve as well. Really just accentuates how good of a character Wally is for me. Are you scrolling through Pixar movies on Google to try and find a main character?
No, I've got one. I just wanted to double check it was a Pixar movie. And it is.
As soon as you saw you looking down, I'm like, he's checking. He can't think of any. He's checking. No, yeah, Wally's great. I love Wally.
Yeah, and like you said, it is strange that that film was so successful given the lack of dialogue, and obviously most kids you'd think would have struggled with that, but the character is such an icon, and like you said, you can spot that design and that look a mile away. Like everyone knows who Wally is, everyone recognizes the character, and I think that works in its benefit. So yeah, it's a good pick. This one,
which bottom of which barrel are you scraping?
I actually think this is a good film. A very good one actually. Like I was just about to say, I'm surprised this film is still on the board here. And that's Merida from Brave.
Oh yeah.
Because that is an iconic character. I honestly would put that with Disney princesses. I can't believe it's actually Pixar. Like I just always assumed it was a Disney princess one.
In Wreck-It Ralph 2. Is Wreck-It Ralph? No, it's not a Pixar film. It's fine.
No, that's not.
Well, she's in with Wreck-It Ralph 2 in the princess scene, isn't she? So.
Yeah, but I checked earlier when I was going through it. I double checked then, but Brave is a Pixar movie, so yeah, I'm taking Merida because I think similarly to Wally, she's got an iconic look. Everyone knows who Merida is, the bright curly redhead from Scotland. I think it's so unique to any other princess slash female hero that Disney and Pixar have done, and at 16, she's quite like almost like a tomboy, and she's fierce, and it's kind of like the character that young girls can look up to. And I just think she's really well written. I think she's really well portrayed, and I think the girl that voices her, I don't actually remember her name, which is terrible. I think she's an incredible job, and I think that film is one of the highlights of Pixar over the last maybe like 10, 15 years. So I'm surprised it took this long to get off the board. But I don't really think there's anything else I would have taken it in, to be fair. Or maybe score, because I think the way they like take inspiration from like Scottish music and the score in that film, it's very almost like Lord of the Rings-esque throughout, and it is beautiful. So I could have taken it in that, but this one felt like a no-brainer because not only is she one of the best Pixar lead characters, I think, especially for the movies where there's one sole character like lead, but I think she's one of the best like Disney like princesses, should I say. There is, and especially if, like, a lot of them feel dated, whereas I think 20, 30 years from now, she will still feel relevant. And that's a good pick for me for the last one. I'm proud of that one.
Yeah, with yourself.
Pat myself on the shoulder for that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't bring her up because I've only seen Brave once, and it was when I was massively hungover one morning, so I really remember it. I should probably give it a rewatch, actually. But I remember watching it and enjoying it, but also hanging out my arse, so who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
There were obviously stuff like Finding Dory or Monsters Inc. where you could have taken those characters. But again, it's hard because I don't feel like there's one sole lead in those movies. Like Finding Dory, I feel like Marlon's obviously just as big a character as she is, and Nemo especially in that one. Same with the Monsters Inc. There's obviously Monsters University, there's Mike and Sully, so it was hard to get just one lead.
Plus, it's copping out again, isn't it?
Yeah. I think
that's all of them.
Yeah, it is. That's everything done. I think if you didn't have it taken, I think Coco, I'd have taken Miguel for that one, I think. But yeah, I'm happy with Brave. I'm happy with my picks, actually. Do you want to recap them? Because I can't remember.
Yeah, we've not had any massive arguments this week, which is starting to become quite rare. Though it does show that we don't have similar opinions this week, so that's a little bit of happiness for you.
Although I think your second pick was one I wanted, so that was immediately Bing Bong. That was a big one for me.
So we started with the opening, and that was you went straight in with Up, took that off the table straight away, you son of a bitch. And I
start as I mean to go on.
Yeah, sad opening and Toy Story 3 with a little bit of a bittersweet opening. And then for the best heartbreaking moment, I went Bing Bong / Riley's reuniting with her parents in Inside Out, and you went Toy Story 2's When She Loved Me, which both good picks. Best ending, you went Monsters Inc., really good choice, and I went Incredibles. Best sequel, I took Cars 3, which is the only right answer with what we had left. And you went Toy Story 4 because you had to. Best score, Incredibles 2. A bit of a cop-out because you just wanted Incredibles 1, but whatever.
It's the same score. Why can't it be using the second one? It's there.
I went Ratatouille for those French vibes. Best song on Poco Loco from me in Coco. And you went Cars 1 with Life is a Highway, which we do obey the laws of the land and drive at the correct speeds at all times. You see me drive away from work very responsibly. Best ensemble or group in a Pixar movie, you went Toy Story 1, you went the OGs, and I went Finding Nemo. I still think I've got the better choice.
That were cute attempts, but they weren't quite Toy Story.
I still think I've got the better one, but whatever. Best story.
If there were any doubt on who won, then this was when it ended.
Best story, I think. Yeah, you're right. If there's any doubt, I won clearly with Light, and you picked the more modern Onward. Best villain, Hopper, because you're a big fan of the actor. I remember you saying, and I went with the mum from Turning Red, who's more of an antagonist, but whatever. Yeah. And then the main character, which I think we ended strong, because usually at this point we're having, especially outside of Marvel, we thought we were going to be scraping some barrels. But I went with Wall-E from Wall-E, and I just wrote Brave, so I was about to say, and Brave, Merida.
Yeah, Merida
from Brave.
It's a good list.
Who's Scottish.
Yeah, good list. But at least, like I said, I think the thing with Pixar and how like the quality that goes throughout is we weren't left scratching our heads trying to cover just about anything like we were in the DC one towards the end.
We missed out. We didn't, for any categories we didn't get Cars 2 because why? Monsters University we didn't use. The Good Dinosaur, which I've never actually seen.
I haven't seen that.
Finding Dory didn't get used. Used Incredibles 2, so that's fine. Soul, that didn't get used. That would have been a good one for score, to be fair.
Yeah, that would have been a very good one.
Luca, which I really loved, but if I could remember anything about the film other than the ending made me a bit like Smiley happy, but like Smiley sad, I think I would have used that, but not great enough. Lightyear, obviously, we're using Elemental, I've not seen, so we've not used it. I didn't get to use it, and you didn't use it anyway.
I've not seen it either.
But I think out of the ones that we didn't use, they aren't the strongest ones anyway. So I think we've got to use all the good ones. We didn't really struggle. We didn't have to pick Flash for anything, so it's fine.
Right. No, I don't think we even picked that for anything in the DC one, did we?
I don't think we did.
No, but I think Pixar, like I said earlier, I think it's a testament to just how well, like, the content they've produced over the years has just been consistently top notch. There's only, like I said, there's only been a few misses, so it wasn't too rough towards the end. And like, no matter when one of us picked something that the other wanted, there were always options there, which was nice.
Yeah.
Well, like last time when you were sat there waiting 10 minutes, thinking about just about anything in the world.
What, I can't even remember what I picked in the end after that.
V for Vendetta.
Oh, yeah. Pulled that one out of my mouth.
Yeah, because you asked it, like, you were saying, like, you didn't know if it clashed as a DC film, and then I watched the DC documentary like 2 weeks later, and it was featured in there, so I was like, okay, it was the right call.
Yes.
So no cheating. But no, that brings us to an end for another Category Carnage then. That was a good one. I think I like the idea of doing like stuff like this. I'm not sure how many different movie like production companies you can do. Like, is there any more like Pixar where there's not going to be hundreds and hundreds? Like, you can't do like Warner Brothers, could you?
No, not really. We could probably do Disney animated, like Disney CGI animated, but that would be really tight.
Yeah.
I think the more we go with Category Carnage, the more we're going to have to think of some new rules.
Yeah.
That can only be used twice or something.
Yeah. Although we talked about it potentially doing certain like years.
Yeah.
Maybe like release years or even like decades, that sort of thing, or genres. So I think
so
there's going to be a few we can pull out.
Yeah, I'm going to say when we finally put out an episode that's like top 10 films, like 20 films from 1998, that's when you know we've run out of ideas.
No, it's going to be top 20.
That should be our next one.
Top 20 from 2023 is when you know it's rough.
Yeah.
No, yeah. We're obviously planning on doing a couple of themed ones for October.
Yours.
So that'll be fine. Like, I'm looking for, I know I'm getting way ahead of myself, but like a Category Carnage on Christmas is going to be where I fucking thrive, let me tell you. I'm going to be all about that. And I can't wait.
We discussed what our battle royale for Halloween is going to be, and that's going to be a good one. I'm not saying anything here, but I think we're going to fucking argue on that one.
Yeah, I think so. It's a franchise that is very, very dear, close to my heart and yours. So that is going to be an interesting one. But we'll see how that goes. But that brings this week's episode to an end. If you want to see either of our excellent faces anywhere but YouTube, then we are both on X, or did I change it? I said it was Twitter. I'm sticking with Twitter. I can't make my mind up. Yeah, you can find us on Twitter. I'm there at Callum Altimus. Again, just tweeting about random shit, mostly sports and movies. I'm also on Letterboxd, where I'm one follower away from 100 now.
I'm going to unfollow you.
I unfollowed you months ago, so that's fine.
Yeah, don't lie.
When I saw your positive review for Lightyear, I thought, fuck this, I'm out.
You and everybody else.
But no, yeah, I'm on the Caltimus. Where can we find you?
At Nay_214 on X/Twitter, where currently it's all Star Wars all the time. Dipping my toe into weekly reviews on Ahsoka, and I'm probably just going to start doing more Star Wars reviews just for my Twitter and Star Wars posts. Not that I'd do anything else on there anyway. And then Letterboxd, which I've been pretty slack on lately because I've been busy with other stuff, planning a wedding and doing getting ready for a wedding.
No excuse for me.
No, sorry. I will try hard. I will try harder. At Nay214 on Letterboxd, where you can hear some more of my perfect, never wrong, always agreeable opinions.
You mentioned Ahsoka then. Is it good?
Is it good?
I've not watched any of it.
Well, then, to be fair, when this episode comes out, because we're recording a little early, I won't have watched the episode 5. But all I'm going to say is episode 4 is probably, I'm still riding the high, but in my head it is the best Star Wars live action TV episode so far.
Really?
So
I saw a hint of what happened.
I genuinely think next week's or this week's, by the time this is out, will top that. But depending on what you've seen, I will openly admit it. The ending to episode 4, I literally just cried.
Oh, I haven't seen no spoilers like that. Someone mentioned that there was a big lightsaber fight with at least 4 different color lightsabers.
But the ending to the episode genuinely made me cry, like straight up tears.
I haven't watched any of it yet.
It was like 8:15 in the morning because I couldn't wait. I had to watch it before I went to work. So by the time it was like I got to that bit, I was emotional.
How many episodes is there?
I think it's 8. Well, I know we're on. By the time this is out, we'll be on episode 5. So I'll be buzzing about that more than likely. But yeah, currently as we're recording, it's only 4. But I think there's 8.
So we're halfway through. Maybe I'll start watching it then. Just because I never watched Rebels or anything, so I didn't know whether I'd be just lost.
I can update you.
Also, I can imagine.
Just, I mean, I don't know if you know, I like collecting my art books, like how they made films and concept art books. And I've just realised, going through this whole episode, and the only one from Pixar I've got on my shelf.
Jesus. So people will now know that you weren't even just doing a bit. You actually like Lightyear.
I know. I genuinely love the film. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Would I do a bit? Awesome.
Yeah. Well, if you guys like this video, and why wouldn't you? We're 2 of the fucking most charming human beings on earth. And Nathan's in a vest, so again. I don't know what else you want. But yeah, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel, or head over to our podcast platforms. I always forget that word. If you are sick of seeing Nathan in a vest.
Yeah, if you want to hear Nathan in a vest instead.
Yeah, if you don't want to see those arms anymore, then yeah, fair enough. That's why I keep looking down. But yeah, feel free to head over there and find us at the CineMatch podcast on pretty much Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Samsung, anywhere really. But yeah, also follow all of the social media channels, which is just the CineMatch podcast, where you can see some fucking absolutely sensational graphics made by someone that isn't me.
Yeah, graphic designer.
That's all I'll say on the matter. But yeah, thanks for listening / watching, guys, and we will be back technically a week from now, yeah, because
we're not going to miss a week, but the next week might be interesting depending on where we land.
Yeah, well, I'll be slightly more tanned, hopefully, looking bronze, so it's bound to be a good episode regardless. And we shall see you all later. So thank you very much and peace out.
What does Lightyear say? To infinity and beyond.
Oh yeah, big fan of you.